You're listening to a DM podcast.
We would like to acknowledge and give thanks to the traditional owners of the land we record this podcast on, the Yagara and Turrbal people,
and their continued connection to the land and waterways on which we meet.
Hello and welcome to Sportish, where we look at life through the lens of sport. I'm Georgie Trickett.
And I'm Libby Trickett, and I'm very tired.
We have survived a cyclone.
We did. Thankfully, where we are in Brisbane, we were safe. Poor Georgie was without power for many hours. Too many hours.
Many hours. It's been like having a newborn where I've been up and down all night emptying pools and checking drains and making sure our house didn't flood.
Like, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Georgie.
It's been a wild ride, which we got through. Not that our children are all back at school yet, because not all the schools have power. So despite what you might hear on the news, this is still a really ongoing situation in Brisbane.
I do love it that there is some social media people who are like, it's not real.
Well, but it's, to be fair, the only reason we didn't get absolutely smashed is that the islands off Brisbane really
got smashed for us.
Like, they took the brunt of it. Stradbroke Island still does not have power.
Yeah.
Hasn't had power since Wednesday. We're recording this on a Monday. So they haven't had power for 5 days now, 6 days now.
It's hectic. And, you know, there's still a massive cleanup effort. There's still a lot of flooding that's happening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's now just moving.
Yeah, not just in southeast Queensland, but northern New South Wales as well.
Oh, the poor northern New South Wales who continues to just get battered by these weather events.
Yeah.
We really feel for them. And I would like to say well done to the AFL, who made the decision to cancel the games that were scheduled to happen in Brisbane and on the Gold Coast for round one. Great call.
Good call, everybody.
I think they would have been very hectic if they had proceeded, but also that they didn't reschedule those matches and force players to make a decision as to whether or not to leave their families during that crisis.
What, like the NRL?
Like the NRL did. And one of the NRL players' wives from the Dolphins actually put up a post just having a crack at the NRL. I think she might have been pregnant and she was not impressed that was the call. That was taken down quite swiftly afterwards. But I was like, you are absolutely allowed to be cheesed off about that being.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because I have a husband who also works fly in fire, technically, even though he works in finance. Lame.
Not like the true FIFO worker.
Actual FIFO workers. And so I had to bring him home from Melbourne a few days earlier than normal. And then obviously we waited and we waited and we waited.
And we waited.
But then I hear, because I have a number of friends who work for the police and who are emergency doctors and things like that, they had to go and stay at the hospital prior to their shifts to be prepared so they could be there for people who might be, you know, sick, injured, emergency work, just general emergency life stuffs. But like, so I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's one of those things you get to play NRL for a living.
Yeah.
I understand wanting your person at home.
But it's entertainment, right?
It is entertainment.
It is entertainment. Yeah. At the end of the day,
it's not essential work.
It's not like if people are staying in hospitals and police stations and fire stations and electricity providers, it's to make sure that everyone's on standby to help when the cyclone hits.
Ready to rock.
Valid, appropriate.
Yeah.
Do we need to apply the same measures to the NRL? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, thinking it through, yes, I totally agree.
That's all right. You just needed to work it through.
And also, thank you to all of the emergency service workers.
Oh, thank you.
All the police, all of the fireys, all of the SES, everyone who's been just...
They've been utterly amazing. I think...
Energex, like, I can't even imagine all the workers who have to
Big shout out to our friend Ruth, who wouldn't have stopped all weekend in the job she has at Energex. But I think it's one of those things where Brisbane was prepared for the worst and hoped for the best. And we were so lucky that the best situation really probably did unfold. Although, can I say, those winds were still very intense and very scary.
I know. It was so funny because it was downgraded from a cyclone.
I can't imagine.
Ex-cyclone. The worst was the ex-cyclone winds.
I cannot imagine being in a true blue category 3, 4, 5 cyclone. That would be the most hectic and scary. So we're very grateful to the Bay Islands for being the buffer.
And also, you know, thinking of the Gold Coast as well, who got absolutely hammered. Georgie, slight change of pace. we have started to introduce a
regular
segment.
It's a segment. I'm so proud of us.
I know. It is good, I think. I'm just saying so myself. A segment that we like to call I Don't Know How to Feel About. And I think it's just kind of a space for us and hopefully our sporties to kind of work through conversations or topics in sport. We want to process it.
We have to process it.
Yeah.
It's not a clear-cut yes or no. You don't have a clear-cut gut feel. You hear about it and you go, oh,
yeah,
no, I need to talk to some people about where I land on this. Where are the people you can talk to?
Or listen to as well. You can tell
we
us
appreciate it's a one-sided conversation.
Yeah. Oh, please
but
tell us
your
thoughts. You're probably much more qualified. But the topic that I wanted to table for us today was a story that came out over the weekend that former AFL player Ben Cousins has been appointed to the commentary team for Channel 7 and has also been put into a Perth radio station as a regular.
As a regular presenter?
Yeah.
Huh.
And for those of you who don't know Ben Cousins, he was an all-time great of the AFL, very well respected in sport, very incredible player. Since retiring, as often happens, has gone through a tumultuous time. He was addicted to drugs. He's been accused of domestic violence and stalking. There's been a whole range of things. It's been a very, very turbulent time for Ben Cousins and seemingly lots of very poor decision-making on his part. What I find difficult, and it was kind of reflects, I think, a little bit of the conversation that we're having about Marty Sheargold a couple of weeks ago, is that you want space for these men to reform and learn and evolve, recognize what they've done wrong, all of those sorts of things. And there's something that I find deeply troubling about having someone who is a domestic violence, assault, stalker, allegations.
Allegedly,
you know, a former drug addict, like all of these things that you kind of go, oh, should he be in that very public-facing role?
Yes. So I've gone through a whole roller coaster of thoughts about this. I think it's interesting the role that addiction and mental health issues play in the story of Ben Cousins.
Yes.
And look, we don't know the exact ins and outs of his situation, and nor should we, but this is a person who clearly has had a lot of mental health issues that have resulted in addiction and led to alleged domestic violence issues. And that is tragic.
Yes.
But
are we happy that he's gotten help? Of course.
Absolutely. This is a real issue in society, and there are many people who will face addiction issues and will struggle with mental health issues. That does not mean they don't have a valid place in society. I think the struggle here is that a person like Ben Cousins, he's then been given a platform.
The redemption arc.
Oh, and it's like what we see.
It's classic. It's a classic redemption arc.
That SAS Australia show, which gives a lot of former athletes or people.
Bad boys.
And the opportunity to redeem themselves. You know, to some extent, there's other reality TV shows that provide a similar platform.
Well, Ben Cousins on Dancing with the Stars.
And I understand the desire to want to help somebody. I think that's really important. I think what's lost in these redemption opportunities is the impact that has on the people that have been affected by that person's behaviour.
Women,
typically. And I do have a person in my life who has been impacted in a very eerily similar way to a person like Ben Cousins. And I thought about how she would feel in this situation. And I can only imagine that for women who have been impacted by people who have done similar things, it's deeply traumatizing to then see those people.
And then re-traumatizing.
And very re-traumatizing to see those people then given the opportunity to parade themselves.
And I think that's where my challenge comes in, right? Is that these people are really in the public eye. Like,
yeah, so it's not like they're going and like becoming I don't know.
An accountant.
Yeah, or you could even be a producer in the background of these. If media is your spot, and I understand that that may be the spot for some of these players.
Correct. And that's what I was thinking as well. I'm like, what other opportunity is Ben Cousins going to get?
Yeah, true.
It has to be in some sort of sport media commentary opportunity. But then does it have to be front-facing?
Yeah.
I totally agree. And that's the biggest challenge is it's so in the public that I can't think of how women can interpret that other than to say that they don't count. Like the women involved, they're not thought of in this situation. And I think for me, what is front of mind is that we have a domestic violence crisis in Australia with so many women dying every single week at the hands of their partners. And, you know, obviously Ben Cousins' situation is allegedly and all of that sort of stuff. But we have such an issue with women dying in Australia.
It's like the leading cause of death.
Yeah. And you just go, this is a situation, and, you know, should he be taking the brunt of that?
No, and I think, again, you're talking about somebody who obviously it would appear has a very fragile mental state. Like I would question how it's in the best interest to put him in such a public-facing role. Like,
but
how
also,
does that,
what other role does he have?
But how does that actually help him properly rehabilitate and reestablish himself?
Give him a different identity. Like, this is the thing with mental health and I could go off on a whole tangent about athletes and retirement. Like, what value does he have except for contributing to this particular sport in this particular way? Like,
but also, is the talent pool in Australia so shallow that these opportunities couldn't have been given to someone else? That's what I find really striking.
Yeah.
And what opportunities are being given to men who have behaved in this way that could have otherwise been given to women?
Yeah.
Because I can assure you, if a woman had behaved this way, I don't see how there would have been such graciousness applied to the situation.
I totally agree. I mean, look at how Sam Kerr was.
Oh, exactly.
Like,
oh, God.
Like, she got drunk and called a police officer stupid and white. Like, she got absolutely roasted for that. I just think it's interesting the way that the Perth radio station who hired Ben Cousins responded. I just think it's an interesting insight into how they're thinking. So they said, thanks for your text. Totally understand your view. To clarify this position, male perpetrators of DV statistically have up to 5 victims. So saving one woman from DV does not stop the problem. Men need to be capable of reform. And if we don't think they can reform, what option is there? We can't euthanize them.
Wow, this is quite an extreme response.
It's a lot. Ben has repaired his relationship with his children and ex and is a public example of changing his life for the better. While this may be upsetting for some, I will continue to advocate for victims, stand with women, and encourage reform in others.
There's so many mixed messages in that.
It's like, it felt like it was downplaying women who are survivors of domestic violence. We saved one person.
Oh, like I said, I think there is a lot of talent here in Australia that is overlooked.
Particularly from women.
And I think there's a great opportunity in these situations to challenge whether we really need to go with the person who has always been given a second chance and always been given this job, or do we go with someone new? And the risk of going someone new surely feels a little bit less than the risk of going with someone with this sort of background.
And I think that cements, in my mind, the idea that particularly the media, broadcast media, is still very much a men's club and that women are still steps behind in terms of getting the opportunities that they deserve.
That was an excellent segue, Lib, because when the power did reconnect at our house over the weekend, we had a lot of time indoors. So much time.
So much time indoors. And as such, I decided that my husband and I would sit down and watch the new TV show that's on Netflix called Running Point. I'm so excited to hear what your thoughts are.
So I have
It's been on my list to watch because of you. It's been, even though you haven't watched it, you've been like,
I've flagged it.
You flagged it.
So the press about this started coming out really early. I don't know if it was aligning with when it was released in the US, but there were articles that were coming out early and I was like, great, I'm going to go watch this. And then I couldn't see it anywhere. So when it dropped, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I was like, great, we'll put that down. The character's name is Isla Gordon. She's essentially, and
she's a real person, right?
Let me get there.
Okay, sorry.
Let me tell you.
I apologize.
Let me tell you a story. So this Running Point, it's a fictional story that's based on the real life of Jeannie Buss, who is the owner of the LA Lakers.
Lovely.
So in Running Point, the character's name is Isla Gordon, and you meet very early on her and her dysfunctional family.
Of course they're dysfunctional.
So dysfunctional. It's a family business. So they've all worked in different positions. In Running Point, one of the brothers gets done for like doing drugs and running off the road and running into a family and has to resign from his job and appoints her as the head of the company, which was a surprise to everybody. Like the other brothers were like, what? Not us? Like you're appointing her? She'd always been underestimated. And so goes on the story of how she takes control of the team and the decisions that she makes. I absolutely loved it.
Yes.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was
because it's a comedy as well.
It's a comedy. So Mindy Kaling is in the writer's room. She was one of the
she's hilarious.
Yeah. So she was one of the people who got this off the ground. It actually was an idea that Jeannie Buss had and took to Mindy Kaling and said, I want you to do this. And she did that because there had been other documentaries.
Sorry, I was just thinking.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Great.
Yes. Sorry. I'm like, Jeannie, when you started to say her actual name, I'm like, oh my God. I just was Googling that while you were talking. Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. I bloody loved it. It was an incredible fictionalized documentary.
Yes.
Of the rise of the LA Lakers.
This is brilliant.
And her dad was the guy who took this massive risk, like risked so much debt and all these things to create what is now the LA Lakers.
Which is an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah. And Jeannie was integral in all of that.
So she was really frustrated in the telling of that story.
Oh, interesting.
Because she wasn't really consulted in the process and she didn't feel like her story was articulated the way she would want it to be articulated.
Because I thought she came across quite well because her brothers seemed to be like
knobs.
Yeah.
Lovable knobs.
Well, I didn't think just straight up knobs. Like really, flaky and not that interested and just kind of wanting to ride on the coattails of everything.
Yeah.
Whereas she was very much invested, very much wanting to be involved, kind of got overlooked a few times from her dad until she finally made her mark. But
so she got handed the reins in real life. She got handed the reins of the company when her father passed away.
Yes.
And that was a bit of a shock, I think, to the system as to who was actually in control. And she eventually ended up sacking one of her brothers who was the head of basketball for the Lakers and apparently brought in Magic Johnson at that point to run basketball. She's the first female controlling owner to lead a team to an NBA title.
Amazing.
She's a true breaker of barriers and glass ceilings in an industry that is so male dominant.
Yes.
And what really got my back up, so after I watched this series, which I just highly recommend, it's a really light take on a fascinating sport and industry and provides a lot of light in situations that could be really dark and shady.
Yes.
Because it is a very challenging industry. We know people who have worked in the NBA courtside. It is a full-on place to be and it's very male dominant.
When you have that industry which is so centered on entertainment and the money values are just sky high.
Wild.
Like wild. I mean, I think that's one of the things that, is it Jerry Buss, maybe her dad?
Yeah, Dr. Jerry Buss.
Yeah. He was one of the first to pay some of the players like extraordinary amounts of money to bring these athletes together. But I really enjoyed Winning Time, but it is a much darker look. But it's also, there are light parts because it's so ridiculous and preposterous.
Yeah.
But you see, particularly in that time, drugs, alcohol, partying, how that was all part of it.
That was just part of the ecosystem.
Part of the ecosystem before everything got much more professionalized. I highly recommend it. I thought it was a great...
Like a companion watch
watch.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I got stroppy because I started looking at some of the reviews and one of the reviewers from The Guardian Her take on it was, "You'll be desperate for Kate Hudson's basketball comedy to end."
What?
"This tale of a girl boss battling the sporting world's patriarchy is a real grind. Perhaps it'd be funny if you care deeply about the sport, but shouldn't a comedy be able to make you laugh regardless?" And so the article goes on to be very critical of the fact that it was almost satirical, the challenges she faced as being the female owner and CEO essentially of
Sounds
one of these,
like it was accurate
of one of these organizations. And I'm like, oh no, that's not them being
satirical,
funny.
Yeah.
That's real.
They're not like
real
this
challenges. Like this is one of the, one of those industries that hasn't gone through much major reform. It's still a highly male dominant part of the world, and everything you're seeing there
is true.
Well, I mean, this is a dramatization or a comedy, but it's very factually based. Jeannie Buss was one of the executive producers. She specifically wanted Kate Hudson on the project because Kate had been around the Lakers as a teen, had shadowed Jeannie Buss. Like there's a relationship there.
Yeah, and an understanding.
And she wanted someone who deeply understood sport. And there are some scenes where I'm like, what just happened? Because the transactional nature of trading players and moving teams around and all that sort of thing is portrayed so brilliantly.
Yeah.
And you'd have to have an understanding of what's going on to really
capture that.
To capture that moment. And she does it so well. So I would just be, if you're reading reviews like that and being like, oh, it's too earnest about like the challenge of women, it's real.
It's too earnest.
That challenge is real.
Yeah.
And that challenge is really well displayed without it just being like, and now you have to have a spoonful of feminism. It's, within the context of the
accuracy,
comedy.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I can't wait to watch it.
It's just very entertaining. Mindy Kaling was in the writer's room for The Office.
She's so funny.
She's so funny. I would be laughing out loud in some points, but it's not the sort of comedy that you're just like joke. Like it's definitely building story and building
characters
and all that sort of thing. And there are funny moments and there are moments where you're just going, oh, what's going to happen next?
I've literally got 3 things on the go now. I've got White Lotus, got Drive to Survive, and now Running Point.
And Running Point has been described as a combination between Ted Lasso and Nobody Wants This.
Yes. Would you think that's accurate?
No, I just think that's 2 prominent things that are on at the moment. That one's involves sport and one's involves like
love,
LA and relationships.
Yeah.
I don't see that parallel necessarily. I think it's a very American comedy as opposed to having like strong English comedy. I think it's got good writing. It was entertaining. The pilot is the first episode. It's a little bit clunky.
Yeah.
But you get through that and then you're like,
I can't wait.
And it's half-hour episodes, which I loved.
Digestible.
I was like, thank you. This is so good. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
Although I do find those ones challenging because I can end up watching 3 because I'm like, it's just half an hour.
Well, that's how we managed to watch so much over a weekend. 10 episodes, done.
Done.
Go check it out. It's on Netflix. She is true NBA royalty.
Yeah.
It's a story, I think, so rarely do we see sports stories like this put from a female perspective. That may be new to people, but that doesn't mean it's not entertaining. Lib, we've hit that time of year where the trials and the grading have started. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, this is a really interesting thing because it is really top of mind for us because this has just happened in a group that we're part of through netball. And so before this year's season commenced or even the grading commenced, my daughter Poppy opted out.
So did she opt out because she didn't want to be graded or because she didn't want to not play with her friends?
So 2 things. Well, 3 things probably. She didn't want to play on hard courts.
When we boil it down, she's like, I'm a grass player or nothing.
Correct. So she was going into a year where they would transition into hard courts. She wasn't interested.
Right.
Which I totally get it.
Whereas my daughter was like, I am only trialing because I get to play on hard courts.
No, Poppy was like, absolutely bloody not. 2, she didn't want to get graded.
Yep.
And 3, the reason she didn't want to get graded is because she knew that she probably wouldn't be put in a team with her friends. So we're not doing netball this season, which is fine. I'm not mad about that. That's totally fine. People know my thoughts about team sports and I find them really challenging. But I'm still in our netball team WhatsApp group.
We didn't grade you out.
I know, you didn't grade me out, which I feel very appreciative of. Thank you. Yeah, it's been interesting to see the comments coming through now that the teams have been selected.
It has been interesting. The reason different sports grade at different times, they will say, is because they want to align the skills. And from a coaching perspective, it can make it easier to coach a team that has more consistent skill base within a group of kids. And I guess a big sport like netball has that luxury. I think that's also a really important point. Smaller sports wouldn't necessarily grade at the age of, say, 10 because they don't have yet the volume of kids coming through that really create that issue for them. I don't believe grading happens at a consistent age across all sports. In fact, I know this because my son, who is younger, has just essentially gone through a grading process for soccer at the age of 7.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
I find that particularly alarming at the age of 7. And what's been interesting for me to observe is him having the realization that he's not playing with his friends anymore. Yes. And what that means to him. And also the realization for me as a parent that for him to get access to a certain level of coaching in terms of skill development, and he really loves soccer despite the fact we're trying so hard to introduce other sports as well. So what I've observed now is because he's been graded and not into a top tier academy, thank God, because that just costs so much money, but to a sort of lesser midway.
Which only costs like $1,000 instead.
It's just such a disgusting amount of money to pay for a 7-year-old to play soccer.
And yet we do it.
Well, yeah, but we did it. And I'm so aware of this, but we did it because he really wants to play. He loves it.
He wants to do it.
And also by now him being in that level, he's got access to a certain tier of coaching.
Yeah. And it's not just volunteer coaches anymore.
Yeah. And I'm really torn on that because I'm like, well, you pay more money and then you get better access to coaching. But also it's almost like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Of course it does.
You're only training the kids who
can afford it.
Who can afford it. And that's a really concerning pathway for a sport to go down where you're not developing talent and you're not providing the opportunity for everyone to experience the same level of coaching.
Yeah.
Like that to me doesn't seem fair.
No.
Or equitable.
No.
And I find that really challenging for that to be the position of a sport. And we've had people in our DMs in the last couple of weeks asking us and regretting their decisions to allow their kids to move into sort of academy development teams and to have been graded because the kids have realised as they've got there that their friends aren't there and their friends are back here playing in another team and now they can't go back.
Yes.
And to have made that decision at the age of 7 or 8, I mean, you don't know until you get there. And I certainly saw for my son that realisation, that penny dropped, that he didn't really know anybody that he was going to play with. I guess the flip side to that is that kids are being exposed to new friendship groups and new people, and that's never a bad thing in my mind.
So this was part of our conversation in our group because obviously the team that had been
our alumni team,
has
just more about the parents than it is.
But this is
the social structures that the parents have established.
So really, you've dug deep into the real reason why I've encouraged Poppy not to do netball.
Is it because you can't stand with us on the sidelines anymore?
Because more than likely she wouldn't have been graded into similar teams.
Well, no, and they've all been split up.
And they have all been split up. Some are with some of their old teams, some are not. I suspect Poppy, who loves doing cartwheels and handstands on the field, possibly wouldn't have made the top team.
I mean, I'm saying nothing. I was a former coach.
She's very good at lots of things.
She's so talented.
Netball was not one of the things.
That's okay. Everyone should play.
Everyone should have a go. I was most concerned about me. Classic individual athlete. I'm like, gosh, if she doesn't get put into a team that I have other parent friends in, then I have to make more friends.
That's okay.
I have to talk to people, Georgie.
Libby, I believe in you. I think
don't
you could have
do that though. I have enough friends. I'm 40. I've made enough friends.
The circle is always open, Libby. It's a horseshoe. It's a horseshoe.
It should be like that. But also, it's the small talk. Yeah. Where do you go to school? I want to talk about interesting things.
You're like, can I skip all the niceties and just get to the deep relationship
Let's go to
part?
the deep stuff. Tell me all of your deepest, darkest secrets, which I'm now out with you guys.
It's tricky. And I have been coaching for a couple of years.
Yes, I did know that.
I'm not coaching my daughter's team this year. I'm going to take on a 10-year-old team that is new to netball.
Ooh.
Or like developing in netball.
Oh, you'll be great for that, Georgie.
Which I'm really excited about.
But that's your sweet spot.
Right. And that's also...
No offense, I don't know about your technical ability.
Are you saying that
maybe we're missing that part?
No, I don't have the technical abilities, but I have the team building abilities and the confidence building abilities.
Which is what you're so great at.
I'm great at juniors. But I love the idea that I'm getting a team that feels comfortable. I think they're either new to netball or newly new to netball. And that to me is brilliant because we want 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds to say, I want to try this sport and be new to a sport and feel like they're in a safe space to be new to a sport.
It's so good that you're there to help catch them.
Do you know as well, I get to coach with I think I'm going to get to coach with like a teenage coach as well, which I love.
Georgie, that's amazing.
I was a teenage coach for softball, and that's from a very early age. I was coaching little teams and just loved that opportunity and got so much out of the ability.
You're like mentoring the teenage coach and coaching the little ones.
And so again, this is the challenge of grading, right? Because those girls might not feel like they had an environment to come back to if they were being put with like gun players and they've never thrown a ball before. Like, how do you deal with that disparity in a team?
On the flip side, though,
so many flip sides.
And, you know, we've spoken about this on our Play On podcast, but like, what if you're the worst player in the best team?
And you do have to be, that's a really character building situation to be in.
But if it's not dealt with empathy and understanding, then those kids who are probably very good players may think that they're a bit shit.
So, and I've spoken to Katie Walker about this, who has been an assistant coach for the Firebirds, took on the Firebirds for a couple of weeks there last year when the Firebirds didn't have a coach at all. She's a highly experienced netball coach, and she genuinely believes there's a way to manage a team with any level of skills in it.
Of course.
And to really ensure that those players who are not as strong as, you know, your top tier players in a team still get court time, still feel like they're a contributing member. It's very much how the coach sets up that team.
But this is the issue though, Georgie, because they will very quickly become the best players in the best team.
Totally.
And then because a lot of people aren't aware of their own biases, they'll start putting those players in, getting a lot more time. And then, and again, self-fulfilling prophecy. These kids get better because they get more time. And the kids who are still very good and have probably a heap of potential get less time, but they would get more time if they were in a lower team.
So where do you stand?
I think team sports suck.
Libby! Oh my God. That's where we got to here?
No, the subjectivity and the subjective nature of team sports, I really struggle with so much. I don't know. I think they should change them around a little bit.
You think they should be...
Rotate. Maybe the top 3 teams, they rotate. I don't know.
So I know that in smaller associations, for netball, for example, they don't necessarily grade. They're still playing mixed ability teams into a much later age.
But I kind of feel like they at least
I'm sure
13. I'm sure there's research around a more ideal time of when to start grading kids, but maybe 13. I don't know.
Well, I definitely don't think it's 7.
We can both agree 7 is not the age.
Too early soccer. Oh my God, we have to announce our winners of our prize.
Yes, who's the winner,
We ran
Georgie?
a competition and then a cyclone hit and we almost forgot about it. So a reminder, the prizes we had on offer were 2 $300 cash payments to help fund your kids' sport, which we're very excited about.
We're so happy. We're like...
We'd literally pay for this out of our company bank account.
I was just going to say, just like as a self-promotion. Georgie and I are so passionate about this stuff, and we hear nonstop about how one of the biggest challenges is cost to kids playing sport. And like for us, this is our life's work. This is what we're passionate about. We want kids to play for as long as possible, and we hate the idea that anything is a barrier, but of course finance and cost is a real thing that lots of people are experiencing. We really love the opportunity from our own bank account because we're not sponsored by anybody at this stage.
Sponsors are welcome.
We want to keep kids playing sport, so this is just something out of our own little bank account that we want to give back to our listeners.
The first winner of the $300 voucher is Michelle Lee 1987 is her Instagram handle. You are the winner of a $300 voucher.
Woo! All right. The next random selection that we've come up with.
Yes.
Ali B.
Ooh, well done, Ali.
Ali 83MB is her Instagram handle. Congratulations, Ali.
We are so excited for you. We were also thrilled to bring on board 2 wonderful female-run companies to get behind this initiative. The first was Hero Athletica, who put forward a $250 voucher for the most brilliant girls' soccer gear. And Libby, do you want to... The winner is...
At Alicia Flett _design. Congratulations, Alicia.
We're so excited for you. And the final winner of our very exciting annual competition will receive $75 from LT Sydney, which is a brilliant brand that's creating period wear to help girls stay active and participate in sport. And the winner of that prize is Connie L. Wright.
Yes, Connie. Woo!
Thank you so much for everyone who got on board, played along. We really appreciate your support. We really appreciate you sharing this with friends.
And as Georgie said, this is going to be something that we run annually because we love it and we want to get more kids playing sport as much as possible.
It's really important to us.
Everyone in Southeast Queensland, North Queensland from the floods earlier in the year, Northern New South Wales, anyone who's just having a bit of a challenging time at the moment, take care.
Take care. Go and watch Drives to Survive. That's what we'll be watching. In the next
I'm thoroughly enjoying it already. This is a very random one. Highly recommend White Lotus, the season 3.
Can you stop?
No, I cannot. I cannot.
I have no desire to watch rich people be awful to each other and murder each other. Yuck.
Magnificent.
Yuck.
Magnificent.
I have no desire to watch it whatsoever.
But, go watch Running Point. Take care of yourself.
Go watch Running Point. Fabulous.
And have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.